and welcome back to Gabbing with Jessa. Today I'm going to be talking about all the books I read in February while playing Stardew Valley. So here we go. Here is my little farm that I have going on. I'm picking some things. Ooh, I need to go put these in the community center so I can get that thing as well. Do I have pumpkins? I know I need pumpkins. Either way, so the first book that I finished was Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. I read this as an ebook and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. This is the story of Trevor Noah's life and growing up during apartheid in South Africa. And the title is Born a Crime because he has a white father and a black mother, which during the time of apartheid, that's actually illegal, which was very surprising to me because Trevor Noah is not all that old. So it didn't seem to make sense for me at first learning about that because, I don't know, it just seemed like that would be so outdated because, again, he's not that old. He's like, what, in his 30s maybe? And so that was really interesting to learn about, and it was just the story of him as a mischievous child growing up during a time where he is technically illegal, but I also really liked because it talked about him and how he was too black for the white community but also too white for the black community down in South Africa. So just learning more about someone being part of two different racial groups but not really being accepted by either because one or the other will say, oh, you're not enough of us to be one of us, which I just think is crazy. I mean, again, I don't have firsthand experience with that, so I'm not going to pretend like I'm going to sit here and say, oh yeah, like that can't be right, because that's not my place. So it was just a really interesting story. I'm glad that I read it. It was definitely something to help open your eyes up to. And yeah, I'm glad that I was able to read it. It's a very highly requested book, so I'm not surprised that it took me a while to get it, and I'm so glad that I finished it on time, because I know I would still be waiting for it if I didn't finish. The next book I read was My Hero Academia, Volume 12. 12? Yes, 12, according to my notes, yes. I gave that 4 out of 5 stars, and I read that physically. I am continuing on in my Hero Academia journey, which is always a lot of fun. And again, without trying to give away too much information, because I know it's hard to do that, especially like in the sequel, but the students are away at their summer camp and they are working on their power moves. And I really thought that this was fun because even though like we know the basic things of these kids' quirks, it's a lot of fun to learn how creative they can be with improving themselves. Like they're trying to come up with one big power move that focuses on their quirks so they can, you know, become better and stronger pros. And so I thought that was a lot of fun to just watch their creativity flourish at this summer camp. Oh, I didn't even know it was that late. Oopsie. That's okay. We'll do that tomorrow. And so I really like that. I really am enjoying these stories. I did give this 4 out of 5 stars. It was enjoyable, just not a perfect 5-star for me, but that's totally fine, you know? It's better that, you know, they're not 5 stars all the time, because I don't even know what I just said there. That's okay, bye Sebastian. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. So like I said, I gave that 4 out of 5 stars, but then I also gave 4 out of 5 stars to Me Talk Pretty Someday by David Sedaris. I listened to this on audiobook because he is the best person to listen to on audiobook. These are just some stories from his life. It starts off with him learning how to like going through speech therapy because he has a lisp, but then transitioning into his adult life where he moves to Paris and he doesn't, did I miss a corn? Yeah. When he moves to Paris because he doesn't know the language there, so it's just him trying to learn everything involved with the language. So I thought that was really interesting as well to read about. And we're gonna head to bed early today because I don't really have anything else that I want to do. I'm still learning this game. It's a process, but I'm enjoying myself, so that's all that matters. Ooh, I made a lot of money there. But yeah, I highly recommend any David Sedaris book because it is so much fun to listen to. I especially recommend it for audiobook. I mean, I'm sure it's fun to listen to as well, or read physically as well, but I recommend listening. That's my preferred and favorite method of doing so. Then I read My Hero Academia Volume 13, again by Kohei Horikoshi. this is continuing on in the student story as well, but now they are working on their provisional licensing exams, so they're not just up against their fellow classmates, they're actually up against other schools as well. So it's them competing against these other schools and learning more about the world of quirks and what is involved. And I'm realizing I'm saying quirks more like quarks, like the scientific thing. But yeah, I want to talk more about these, but I feel like I can't because I don't want to give spoilers away. It's so hard. And so yeah, that's it. We're gonna move on. So then I read Outlawed by Anna North. This was actually a book I got from Book of the Month for February or January? I don't remember. One of those two. And I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. So I read this physically because I got it from Book of the Month. And it follows the story of... I don't even remember her name. What is it? Ada. That's what I thought it was. So she gets married at 17. This is like a feminist spin on like the Wild West. So she gets married at 17, and then her and her husband try to get pregnant, but after a year she is no longer pregnant. So she starts sleeping with a different guy in hopes that she would get pregnant, but still she is barren, she can't get pregnant, and so she is deemed a witch. And because I guess witches can't have kids, so she is banned, and she joins a local gang called the Hole in the Wall Gang, which is a bunch of other women who have been kind of outlawed. Oh, that's the name of the book. I didn't even try to do that, but who've also kind of been outlawed, banished from their families, their friends, and they just are now robbers, so they try to go on this big robbing scheme, and that's the whole book. I really liked the beginning of the book, I really liked the end of the book, but then I got lost in the middle of the book. I don't really know. Maybe I just missed something, but it seemed like I really liked the beginning of the book because I like the idea of talking about how pregnancy is a real big issue, and even for women back in the 1800s, like it was still a big issue then. Now that I'm older and I'm at the age where more people are that I'm familiar with, or like friendly with, are having kids, but also that are going through things like miscarriages, or I have fellow fellow classmates and peers that I went to college with who are having issues with fertility. And so it was really great in that sense. I think reading about that and how that can still relate to today and what people go through, that was really impactful for me. And I really did like the ending of the story with the big scheme that they go through at the end. I'm not going to say much about it, but I really like that. It was full of action, it was full of adventure, and it was just so much fun. But in the middle, I was so lost. I didn't understand what was going on. I don't know why. Maybe I just misread something, or I just skipped through it too quickly. I don't know, but I was so lost. And it was just not that enjoyable for me because I was so lost. So yeah, I do recommend it, even though I did give it 3 out of 5 stars. So just, very average for me, which is totally fine. I know that some people give 3-star books and they're like, oh, this book was so bad. But that's not, 3 is in the middle. It's average. And so why I don't think a 3-star book is a bad book. It's just very average for me. Some people will like it, some people won't like it. And there were aspects that I really liked, and there were aspects that I didn't like. And so, yeah. Outlawed, Anna North. I read it physically. 3 out of 5 stars. I think you should read it too. Then I read My Hero Academia Volume 14. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. Read it physically. Now the summer is over and it's back to a brand new school year. So the students have these new living situations because of the events of the past book. So they're all kind of living in a dorm together, which just like brought me back to college and stuff. I loved living in a dorm, being surrounded by my friends, and so it made me happy because that's what it reminded me of, and it was a lot of fun. There's also a new villain that is introduced, and they are terrifying, and I love them. It is so good. Okay, I don't want him looking at me when I go through the trash because he's cute. Thanks, Alex. I think in this game, my friend said that you can like get a husband or a wife, and I'm down about that. I don't know. if you play this game, leave me a comment down below, like, who should I get married to? I think that would be fun to think about. And the next book I finished in February, get in the door, was The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory. This is a black female-centered story when her and this white guy meet in an elevator and they decide to go and be each other's date. Well, she agrees to be his date for his ex's and best friend's wedding, and then, you know, fun times come about from that. Okay, I'm gonna have to come back here too because I'm gonna need some quartz. Oh, can I not get quartz? Oh no, I'm gonna have to go digging for that. Okay, but that's fine because now I can get, did I get enough? I can't see. Yes, I did. Okay. Okay. So yes, it is their story about finding each other, and of course it is a romance book, so they eventually, you know, have, you know, they go away from the weekend and then they're like, man, I can't stop thinking about this person. So it's their story of, you know, that basic kind of, oh man, I can't get that. That basic kind of trope. I thought it was a little insta-lovey, which took me out of it, but I also had so much fun reading it. It was a joy to read, and it definitely a nice easy read, so if you're looking for a nice easy romance read, I highly recommend this. So then, what else is new? My Hero Academia Volume 15. I read it physically and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. For this one, we have our new villain that was introduced in the previous book, and he is, he's teaming up with the League of Villains, so it's just them discussing their plans of domination and what that means for the students. Oh, I'm gonna have to get some. And what that means for the students, I know I'm very, like, all over the place, but what that means for the students at UA and what they're going to have to go through this year with not just this new villain, but along with the League of Villains as well. Oh, I had some gold? Oh, man. That's okay. Oh, man. That's okay. I'm trying to build some sprinklers so I can not water as much. So we'll do that, and I'll put the rest of my gold away. And put the coal away. I'm gonna need to go foraging or mining tomorrow, so we'll do that. So now let's just hang out here. Let's go meet my cat. Where's my cat? Lana, where's Lana? Is Lana in the house? Let's go see, because these are going to take a while, and then I'll make my sprinkler. Oh, but let's move the sprinkler, because I'll need to get new crops, too. Oopsie. Move it here for now. Oh, that's a scarecrow. There's Lana, there's my cat. Perfect, okay. Lana's such a good girl. Yeah, so that's my goal. I'm trying to make sprinklers so that way I don't have to water as much. So that way I can have, like, those little, like, these things, and then so I can just make nice easy crops, because then the sprinkler will go all around here, and I just think that's nice and easy. Okay, where was I? I was talking about books. Okay, then I listened to White Fragility by DiAngelo. I gave that 5 out of 5 stars, and it is from a white person's perspective who is a diversity trainer, and her job is to just go and give diversity talks to other corporations, major groups, anything like that, in hopes that, you know, they will learn what they are doing could be microaggressive, or just some of their old opinions that may not be the best. And it was just a really good book to listen to and just to sit back and reflect on, and, you know, just learn more about what it means to be a different race, and just what happens in the workplace or at school or something like that. I know I've had a few diversity trainings before, but it's always good to just look back on this and learn new information. And so I think it really did help me, and I think that other people should read and listen to this as well. This, I didn't realize that gold takes like 5 hours to make. So we're just gonna sit here, let's turn our fire back on, and just sit by the campfire. until the gold is done, because I would like to make a sprinkler before I go to bed. And I read physically Marvel's Powers of a Girl by Lorraine Cink. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, and it was just basically a nice, fun, easy book explaining the different women in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, not just Cinematic Universe, excuse me, but in the Marvel comics, learning about their origin stories, like who their friends are, their mentors are. It was a lot of fun. I like to listen to the Marvel, like This Week in Marvel podcast, where Lorraine is one of the hosts, and she does a great job, and it was a lot of fun to read. It was just a nice, easy read. I forget when I put this gold in, but it's been about an hour, at least since I last checked. So that's why I like, time does go by quickly in this. Lana's fallen asleep. Let's, you know, make some new patches, because we'll go tomorrow to the store and we'll get, see, I accidentally did this and I wish I didn't do that. Oh, I'm screwing this up. I need it to be ruined. Okay. Let's make another one here. Can I fit 3 across and 3 down? Probably not, now that I've already started this. Nope. Oh, but we can go up, though. Oh, it's done. Well, I've started this, so let me finish it. Ah, dang it! Okay. It's really not that big of a deal, but it matters to me. Okay, so now let's make our sprinkler. We'll put that sprinkler here. And then, like I said, we'll go and we'll get... How many more days do I have left? Oh, I have like 28 days in a season. Because certain crops can only be grown in certain seasons. I don't want to start a crop that would die before I got to it. But I still believe I have 28 days, so that's good. Okay, where was I? Next on my list. Okay. Then I read on ebook Diamonds and Hearts by Chris Siegfreid and Desiree Hartsock. Desiree was the Bachelorette for season 8? 9? I don't really remember. She was after Sean Lowe's season, because she was on Sean's season. I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. It is a poetry book, mostly by Chris, and it was really fun and enjoyable to read. It was nice. I'm just not a big poetry person. But it is something, you know, I would go back to and reflect on, think about again. And it's always fun to learn about the lives of the bachelors and bachelorettes as they're going through the process, because you never know what really goes on behind the scenes. You know, there's people that say that it's all fake, which, like, it is. Part of it is. But I'm also a believer that the real troopers come out in the end of those who find true love on the show, which both Chris was the winner for Desiree's season, and they are still married to this day with at least 1 kid, maybe 2. I don't really know. I read that on ebook, and then I also read The Diary of an Arranged Marriage by, I'm gonna need to look at this, Halima Khatun, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars to. It is the story of a modern day Bengali girl in London or in England who she's like 26, 27, and she's like, you know what, I'm ready to get married, mom and dad, find me an arranged husband. And it's a really interesting thing because it talks about, you know, the process of how arranged marriages work, but it's also taking place in current day. So it's really interesting because then she actually decides, you know, to take matters into her own hands and join like an online dating site specifically for Bengali and Muslim men and women who want to find love in more of an arranged marriage kind of way too. Like, that's kind of implied that it also involves that. And this was really fun to read. I gave it 4 out of... Dang it, I need more water. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I thought that it was enjoyable. It was really easy, but it was written so interestingly? Yes, that's a word. Because... words. Oh, it felt like it was more of a memoir than it was like a fiction book, because it felt very real to listen to. When I was like reading it, I felt like they were talking to me about their life, like this was an experience that they had. So it was really interesting. And again, I really like the idea of taking a more modern or like an older tradition and bringing it into the modern world, because there are so many other resources that people have nowadays compared to what they used to have when trying to date. And that's just not for, Bengali men and women trying to find arranged marriages, but that's literally for like everyone. There's so many different dating apps out there that you never know what there could be. And so it was a really fun read. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I did think that the girl was a little like picky, but also like she admits that she is, and it's also just something to think about too, because just because some people have higher standards for their partners, some people don't, and I think that's fine. It's whatever you want to do. At times, like, to me, she felt like a little picky, and that's just a personal thing that I felt during it. But maybe other people reading it found it perfectly fine. And I mean, it was perfectly fine. So yeah, really enjoyed that. And the final book that I read in the month of February was Record of a Spaceborn View by Becky Chambers. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, which was an unpopular opinion. Most people that read it for the book club, because I was part of the Interstellar book club's pick for February, as we are doing a Wayfarers read-along. Most of them gave it 4 out of 5 stars. They still enjoyed it, but they just didn't really connect with it as well. That was like the opposite for me. I don't want to give too much away. I'll actually link the video that we did. I'll link it up in the cards, and I'll link it down below for our discussion. We have a spoiler and a non-spoiler section. Mostly spoilers though, because it's hard to talk about a third book in a series without talking about spoilers, but just another fun read from the Interstellar book club. Alright guys, that's all that I have for you today. I'm now carrying a staircase. There we go. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you read in February down in the comments below. If you've played this game before, let me know what you think about it. I'm having a fun time, just trying to figure everything out. Let's see what else. If you have any game recommendations, let me know down in the comments below. I've started this new thing called Video Game Friday, where I'm going to try to play through different video games, more ones with like a story or a set goal or something like that. I'm going to try to play through some of those, just for fun skis. Let me know all that down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and until next time, keep on gabbing.